Welcome to another episode of Pets a Family Show. And today we have a very special guest, Rakesh Santhapur from Hyderabad, now living in Bangalore. And he's the co-founder of Dr. Paws and one of the fastest growing veterinary clinic chain here in Bangalore. Welcome to the show, Rakesh.
Thanks, Anil. Thanks for having me.
And I would like you to introduce yourself in less than a minute.
Yeah, I'm Rakesh. Pet parent, grew up with pets all my life. Ever since I was 2, I had pets in my life. They played a huge role in who I am and shaping my character.
In Hyderabad?
Yeah. Born in a family of teachers, went to NIT Warangal to do my undergrad, then did 3 years of business analytics stint with a firm called Musicma, which was one of the first startup unicorns in India at that point of time. Then went to XLRI to do my MBA. Passed out of XLRI, joined BCG, did consulting, again spent a lot of time in healthcare there. So even in Musicma, I've spent a lot of time in healthcare. So healthcare was always with me, but I wanted to explore the world of startups. That's when again I wanted to join a healthcare kind of a startup. So shortlisted a couple of them, Cult being one. So
you worked with Cult?
Yeah, so joined Cult about 2-3 years back now, 2022. Got really good opportunity to explore, preventive health and fitness through Cult. Did 3 charters with Cult when I exited. I was the P&L head for Hyderabad, leading a 220 crore portfolio. Then I launched one brand for Cult called HRX Gyms, which is now rebranded as Cult Neo. And nice. I was taking care of the market intelligence function for Cult. During that time is when I became a pet parent. Earlier, I was fully pet sibling. My parents used to take care of the pets. I had seen the good part of pets. When I became a pet parent, I started seeing the 360 degree of being a pet parent.
Which year was this?
This was 22.
22.
Yeah, right 22 is right after COVID. 22 is when Choco came to our lives. My life changed.
And then Chippy?
Chippy came in recently.
Okay.
Chippy is 9 months old now.
Oh.
So we wanted a companion for Choco. So that's how Chippy came in. But otherwise, Choco was our first baby. Then when Choco came in, we became pet parents, started experiencing, there are a lot of pain points that a millennial pet parent would not want to experience. And at that point of time, I had exposure to how do you build an offline services business through Cult. So then thought, why wait for somebody to, kind of create that convenience for a millennial pet parent when you can do it yourself. So that's how, teamed up with Udit, who is my friend from BCG.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's how Dr. Paws was born.
Super. Did my team tell you about bringing pets to the show?
Yes, they do. Yeah, I would have loved to have Chippy, but Chippy is undergoing a grooming session as we speak.
Oh, nice.
So
if you have episode 2, please bring your pets.
100%.
Would love
Choco is camera shy. My social media.
I'm sure you are. We're all camera shy.
I'll tell you, my social media team, whenever they have to shoot with Choco, a packet of treats is done.
So what breed is Choco?
Choco is a golden retriever.
And Chippy?
Chippy is a poodle.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. So, Rakesh, with an experience from BCG, data, consulting, marketing, is it like you are preparing yourself to start Dr. Paws?
I mean, starting up was always there on my mind. So my wife is an entrepreneur herself. So right out of college, so we were batchmates from Excel. So right after college, she was very clear, I'm not going to work. I want to start something on my own. So she sat out of placements. She was very interested in pharma. Mm-hmm. So started a human pharmaceutical manufacturing company.
Wow.
Which is
here in Bangalore?
No, Hyderabad. So we're from Hyderabad. She is from Hyderabad. So her factory is about 3 hours away from Hyderabad, with an office in Hyderabad. And I always wanted to start up, but we were very clear, one of us should have a stable job, right? Until her startup kind of becomes stable and starts giving cash flows, I should work because again, we don't want to compromise as a lifestyle for a family. So I was with BCG, got into BCG. It was, she at that point of time, she was busy, I was busy. Then by around 2020-ish, she was kind of stable in what she was doing. Then I was like, okay, now this is the time for me to start exploring. And then COVID stuck, all of that. So I was kind of clear on, I want to be in the healthcare side of things. but was contemplating multiple things, right? In human health, pet health was technically not on my head at that point of time. Then joined Cult in 2022. That's when I was like, okay, now we should do something in health for sure, because there's so much opportunity to be built in human health. Then Choco came into the life, then suddenly changed the perspective, right? Health is not just human. There is a good opportunity that's there in pet side of things as well. That's how.
Wow, interesting. So when was the Dr. Paws started?
Technically we launched our first clinic in July 2024, end of July 2024.
That was last year?
Yeah, last year, about a year and a half ago, not even a year and a half.
The first clinic in Indranagar.
Indranagar, yes. But the work for that...
Why did you pick Indranagar?
I mean, so for us, like Udit and me, we were very clear when we wanted to test our model. Both of us are not vets, right? Like we're not vets. So we have Girish, who joined us as a chief vet. That's a story in itself. I'll talk about it. But for us to check if this model works or not, right? We wanted to be in a market, where if we succeed, it should be then a playbook for us too. So Indranagar is like the most competitive market in Bangalore today, with pretty much every clinic chain that you can name off and legacy clinics that are there already having their presence. So we're like, let's explore Indranagar and RMV. Like our idea was to launch two on the same day. One in a market like Indranagar, which is kind of crowded. Other one is the market like RMV, Sanjay Nagar, which doesn't have that much competition. Then we had a setback due to the site for RMV and stuff. So they launched with a 1 month gap. So Indranagar technically became one, but otherwise we wanted to launch two to test waters.
Why veterinary clinic? Why not? Why didn't you think about manufacturing pet food?
See, the pain point I had experienced was in the vet clinic. So I used to go to a clinic in HSR. That's where I used to work for Cult. Again, 5 days a week working. So only Saturdays and Sundays is when you can technically go to a vet clinic for a non-emergency, right? No appointment booking system. I had to go press a button to get a token on a Saturday. Very busy clinic. So always used to wait hour and a half, 2 hours to get my turn. Sometimes I used to call up friends who stay nearby here. Why don't you go and take a token for me? Right? And there were no waiting areas. So there was like a small hall with 4 or 5 chairs put, dogs peeing there, nobody cleaning. That was one place where I didn't want my dog to wait. But the doctor was fabulous, right? She was fabulous. So we were like, we go there for a doctor, but everything associated with that experience was bad. So we used to wait in the car, sometimes not get a parking. So park the car about 100 meters away, wait in the car, come back twice to see where the token number has come. Then finally take Choco when the number was near. And this was the time when third wave of COVID was kind of happening, early 2022 types.
Yeah.
So even things like weighing machine were not cleaned after use. Tables were not cleaned after use. And my wife has a hygiene OCD, right? So we used to carry 2 bottles of spray sanitizer, spray it on the table to clean
right
it
after
ourselves.
COVID.
Yeah. So to kind of clean it before we put Choco on a table. And while the care was good, the experience was broken. That's where we said, yeah, there are enough pain points. And like a modern pet parent is convenience seeking, right? We have convenience in all our walks of life, right? We have Swiggy that delivers food at 2 a.m. There is an Instamart, Blinkit that delivers groceries whenever you need in 8 minutes. There is Uber, Ola. So we are convenience seeking in every aspect of our life. Why should pet care be not that? Right? Why should pet care be, and it was not cheap by any means. It's not like, it was coming at a, compromise of cost, I was paying very good amount for my pet care,
for the concept.
But convenience was not there. So that's where we said it's, and most of the industries have passed through this journey, right? You take like fitness that I come from with Cult, 10, 15 years back, gyms were bit shady, old rusty equipment, run by trainers, not really conducive for women to work out, all of that. And then Golds came in, Cult came in, so organized this space. So now,
there's so many other players in the market.
So the market got similar with dental.
I think they set up some standards for the gym now.
Yeah, like similar with dental, when a lot of dental clinics were single room, single doctor. People used to pass out of their dental course, come start their practice in a small room. Not really experienced focused, not really standardization of care focused, right? Every doctor you go to, we might say different things, right? That is one thing I've noticed a lot in veterinary field. Like Choco has hip dysplasia, like most Goldens do. Right? And you cannot kind of recognize it until they are like 8-9 months old, right? And after that, it's a management thing, right? You can't technically cure it unless you go under the knife for a surgery. This thing which we didn't want to, so we had to manage. So we visited multiple vets, and everybody had a different take to it. So another pain point I've realized, there is no standardized. Like if I take the same X-ray to 3 different doctors, 3 different doctors will say 3 different things, right? I was surprised by it. Like it's the same X-ray, right? It was, so that standardization was missing. Whereas I've seen how a Clove was built in dental space, where it got standardized, organized, focus on, like, if I now need a dental, I can just check where the nearest Clove is and I can go, right? If I need fitness, I can go to a nearest Cult. But if I need a veterinary, I can't, there was no brand that I can check as a neighborhood where, like, really? Just check a vet near me and then there is this brand that can blindly go. So that is what we wanted to build, right? A neighborhood clinic chain, where if you need a vet near me, you see, okay, there is a Dr. Paws 20 minutes away, blindly go there, right? Our idea was in Bangalore, like for every 20 to 30 minutes, there should be a Dr. Paws, right?
Wow.
You don't have to travel, 1 hour to get to a good vet, right? You already are parenting a pet, so everything else Dr. Paws will take care.
Super. It's like Cult in the veterinary space.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring that level of quality.
Super. Very nice. And tell me about the challenges you went through starting this.
See, the biggest challenge was...
Not from the pet industry. You had no idea of building hospitals.
True. The biggest challenge was, between Udit and me, we were not vets, right? While I come from an experience of building... I know how to set up, right? I know how to run ops. I know how to scale. But I am not from medical background.
Yeah, but one thing I've noticed, even from my previous company, every other founder who's made it big is not from the industry.
True.
You take Swiggy founders or Myntra founders or even Paytm founder. Paytm founder is not from the fintech background. I think people like you are kind of fearless.
See, that always helps us to look at a neutral view, right? When you are in an industry, you are kind of run by, okay, this industry runs like this, right? When you're a third person, you can actually think of, why can't I change it, right?
Yep.
When, you have seen the change happening in something else, right?
Nice.
Why can't you do it, right? And this is something I've learned a lot in BCG, right? Consulting, right? How do you learn from one field and apply it into the other field?
Fantastic.
It doesn't have to be like, domain knowledge is very important, but that's not the only thing to succeed. So that was a confidence that we had. But industry as such respects domain knowledge, right? So we didn't have a vet, right? So convincing, we were like, let's get the chief vet first, right? It was, we could have attracted, people with medium experience, but we didn't know how to gauge them. Right? I can gauge from a pet parent standpoint, but I can't gauge from a technical standpoint. Like if you are a vet, how much do you know on specific diseases? So we wanted our chief vet to be the first hire of Dr. Paws.
Nice.
So went around in Bangalore, visited multiple hospitals.
Did you go to that lady in the HSR layout?
Obviously. Right? Udit used to go to some, I used to go to some. We reached out, okay, this vet is good. Used to do some mock consults. Then shortlisted about 3 or 4 vets who we really thought, okay, these are the kind of vets who we want. Our biggest concern was, would all of these were around 15 years plus experience, right? Would they understand startup? Right? Vet industry has been so traditional in how it's built and how people are trained. Now suddenly, if you want to bring a startup feel to it, right? That means the kind of policies, our SOPs, the agility that we bring, would that person adopt? And fortunately, Dr. Girish was one of them, right? He was a top of our pecking list.
Where did you find him?
He was working with Cessna at that point of time, head vet in the Sadashiv Nagar branch. That kind of ticked all the boxes we have. But, obviously, how will he get convinced, right?
How did you approach him?
We directly approached him. After we did a consult, we really liked them. We had few people in the network who were going to him.
You consulted him genuinely for the dog, or
yeah. So it was a mock consult, for us to understand how good Girish is firsthand, right? I was not visiting Girish at that point of time. Udit was not visiting Girish at that point of time. So we had to know how Girish is. We have heard from our circle, he's a great doctor. Very empathetic, spot on with his diagnosis, but we wanted to experience firsthand. So Udit went for an appointment with Girish. He loved, so he said, yeah, we should get him at any cost. And then we had 3 people. Girish was top of our list. When we approached Girish, his obvious answer is no, because he's comfortable in his role, head vet, having spent almost 13-14 years with the brand so far. So he's one of their earliest hires and was comfortable. And now here comes 2 young guys who says, we'll build a chain. Or what did we have? A deck. Right. This is like a chicken and egg problem, right? Funds want to understand who's going to run your medical function. That's your product at the end of the day. And, to attract somebody like a Girish or anybody who's going to come as a chief, what is the confidence that you can give, right? So we've approached Girish. He said no. But we didn't leave it there. We were not taking no for an answer.
The BCG people don't take
right?
No.
And then we approached again, couple of weeks later, said, why don't we meet for a cup of coffee, right? So both of us, me, Udit, and Girish met near his clinic. I still remember in third wave. And he's still no, yeah, And then we said, why don't you think, right? At that point of time, we lied to him, right? We said funding is secured. We were at ag end of securing the funding, but the fund wanted to speak to the chief vet before they can give a formal go ahead. We said, yeah, funding is secured. One thing is, I've already I've not quit my job yet. This was December 2023. I've always made up my mind that I want to.
But you were managing cult in Hyderabad then.
So I was doing 3 charters, right? So Hyderabad, HRX, and Market Intel. So I was spending 2 days in Hyderabad, rest of the week in Bangalore.
Okay.
So then met him. Then he said, let's think, right? Then Jan, first week, I've quit my job. 2nd Jan, which was the first working day, I went to Naresh and Porco. Naresh is the CEO of Cult and Porco was the business lead. Told them, folks, I'm quitting. Then if it was I was quitting for another job, they would have, convinced me to stay back. I told them this is what I want to start. Naresh is a pet parent himself, and Cult has this great culture of entrepreneurship. So then Naresh was like, I don't know what you're building, but consider me in as an angel. Right? He didn't all he heard is I'm trying to build something in the pet space. So that was a good confidence that we had.
Lovely.
And then, then went to Girish again. Finally, in our 5th meeting, he came and said, yes.
Wow.
Right. I'm on board. Let's build.
He was ready to quit.
Yeah. He was ready to quit. He said, okay, I'll take a month or so off because I've been working for so long. I need some time to kind of refresh before I start. This was in Jan end 2024. Then he said he's on board. That was the same time when we were working with Sauce and finalizing the deal. Then Manu, who's a partner at Sauce, spoke to Udit, me. Then finally Girish gave a go-ahead few days back. So he spoke to Girish. On the same day they came and said, folks, we are on board. And that's how, funding got secured for our first sprint of Dr. Paws. Then obviously while the funding work was happening on paperwork, legal, etc., we were then building on how the product should look like, right? Leading
you
up
secured fund even before opening a clinic.
Yeah, so much before we opened our first clinic. Because, we were contemplating, other than I were thinking, should we bootstrap for our first set of clinics or should we raise the funding? Then we thought it's better to go VC backed because that gives us some flex to try something, right? Nice. If you're bootstrapped, like your mentality is always like, how do I cut corners to save money? This gives you some level of freedom. It's not like you can splurge, but some level of freedom to put the product in its right shape and form. Without worrying too much about money. And, I've seen that, when my wife was building pharma, we bootstrapped with some level of bank debt, right? We've always seen like most of the bandwidth goes into financial planning, then the product or operations. We didn't want the same thing to happen with Dr. Paws. So, yeah, by the time funding was secured, we had a decent groundwork done already. Udit and I used to connect even when I was at Cult. We used to spend a lot of time debating about every aspect of how Dr. Paws should look like. Right, even before we named it as Dr. Paws, how every aspect.
Was that the first name you considered?
We considered bunch of names. So there was Beer Hug, there was Dr. Paws, there were few other names. We went to PetFed that year, 2024, November is when PetFed happened in Jai Mahal.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. So we went there, we spoke to about 200 odd pet parents, right? Just telling them what do you infer from this name, right? Because our idea is we should not spend too much on marketing, letting people know what it means, right? It should be very self-explanatory.
Got it.
Marketing can go into say how we are different. But if we are spending money to just say we are a chain of clinics, then whatever we raise just goes into that. So we wanted the name to be very self-explanatory, and Dr. Paws was like a clear favorite from the pet parents where everybody understood what it is from the word go. So we then finalized the name, different aspects of it. By Feb end, we had a blueprint kind of ready by Feb or March.
This year, Feb?
No, 2024. On the overall product, all that. Then May is when we've started the work at site. So getting designer on board, all of that happened during March, April. May.
You hired the designers first?
No, because we are a design-led brand, awesome. But we were working with freelancers. We didn't hire, we were very, very frugal in hiring our HQ staff, but we've already hired, even before we finalized the location, we had around 6 doctors hired.
Okay.
So that has been our ideology from the word go. Even before you identify a site, hire the doctors. Because
Dr. Girish helped you hire them.
Yeah, Dr. Girish helped us shortlist people because, we had people showing interest, but we didn't know whether technically they're good. Culturally, we were able to evaluate. Attitude-wise, we were ready to evaluate. So Girish helped us evaluate the technical capabilities because the first set of doctors will set the tone on how you're going to build.
How did you manage even without a clinic? You already hired 4 doctors.
See, one thing we realized is...
How did you even convince the doctors?
This space has breadth of opportunities, right? So once Girish came on board, it was easy. Because when Girish can trust us, right, then it just became for people like Archana, Hitesh, who are the head vets we had for Indranagar and RMV, our first 2 branches, to trust us because now you have Girish. Yeah. So the veterinary space had this breadth of opportunities. So what was happening, if we take a step back to understand this field, it's most of the clinics are doctor-led clinics. There were hardly any brands. Right? When we were actually contemplating, Vetic was just building, launched about a year and a half or 2 years back, just making the presence. But otherwise, there were no brands. Mainly doctor-led. most clinics were run by a vet, then passed on to their next generation.
Next generation, yeah.
Right? Because that's how like a lot of clinics in Bangalore used to operate for 25, 30 years, where it's run by one vet. Now their second generation has taken over. So for the other vets who are working there, there was clearly no growth path. So you start off as a vet, you stay as a vet, you stay as a vet, you retire as a vet. There was no growth path. And most clinics also didn't have opportunities to upskill for most of the veterinarians. It's more like trial and error. You see this case, you learn and do, but otherwise there were not many structured L&D charter that was there for most vets. Like people used to obviously learn from the, who is the head vet for that hospital. So a lot of knowledge used to pass on from them, but a lot of advancements were happening in the veterinary space globally at that point of time. So that access was kind of missing. So when there was an opportunity that came saying that, okay, there is a brand that somebody is trying to build, and with Grish as a vet face of it. So that got us some credibility where people like Archana, Hitesh, Kiran, Narthi, who joined us at
Is
that
it easy to find vet doctors?
I mean, not really. So getting 10, 15 good vets is not a big problem, right? When you have to bring in your 50th, 70th vet, that's where the problem starts, right? Because there is talent in India, right? There are really, really smart people who have got into vets, right? Who missed medical by a whisker and got into vets. So they're smart people. But unfortunately, many brands were not able to groom them. Because they don't have some brands did a good job. Somebody like Cessna did a great job in grooming doctors and giving the quality of healthcare that is there in Bangalore today. But that's one, right? And maybe there are one or two more. That's it. Majority of them didn't do a good job. So our idea was, let's actually first get people from these brands of repute where they follow some level of protocols, right? Then use them as our base, then so that if we get another set of doctors, they can be a teach the tutor kind of like thing. Like we teach them, then they go and pass on the knowledge to the other set. So that's how the standardization happens. So that's why our initial set of 6-7 vets that we've hired, we were very, very clear on this is the kind of quality that we want in terms of empathy they carry, in terms of medical knowledge they possess, the communication they have. So we put very high bar on everything because this is a trust-driven space. It's not like you build a fancy clinic and people would come. If they don't experience the trust in their first visit, they're not going to come the second time. So for us, that was important.